Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to crochet this ball. If you're a beginner, then this is a really good pattern for you guys, and let's get right into it. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you guys can know when I upload new videos, which I'm going to try to do every day. And don't forget to like the video, and let's get right into it. For this project, I'm going to be using a 5mm crochet hook. You're going to need a yarn needle, which will come in handy at the end of this project, a pair of scissors, a stitch marker to mark your row, or you could use a piece of yarn. I'm going to be using Red Heart Super Saver yarn. And finally, you're going to need some stuffing to stuff your ball. To get started, you're going to do a magic ring of 9. So we're going to make a magic circle. And if you don't know how to do a magic circle, then comment down below and I'm going to make a tutorial on that. So this chain 1 doesn't count. So we're going to insert our hook and we're going to do a single crochet. So that's 1. Insert again, that's 2. That's 3. And repeat this until you have 9 stitches. So row 2 is going to be an increase on each stitch and you'll have 18 stitches. So we are going to insert our hook into that first stitch. It might be a bit hard because those first stitches are always hard to insert in. There we go. So we're going to do an increase. If you don't know what an increase is it's when you put 2 stitches into that same stitch and it'll make an increase. And I almost forgot, if you want to add your stitch marker, then you can just add it right there. But I don't really add my stitch marker in the first row because then I know when to stop. Because I already know, because there's a bump and I know that I have to stop there. But then on the 3rd row, then I'll add my stitch marker. So 2 single crochets, we're going to do 2 single crochets into that 2nd stitch. That's 1, that's 2. I'm going to repeat that all the way around. 1 and 2. Let's pull that magic ring tighter. And you want to repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back. So I just finished row 2, and now what you want to do is you want to grab your stitch marker. I'm using the Clover brand, and you're going to place your stitch marker in that stitch right there. And secure it. And now we're going to move on to row 3. So row 3 is super simple. All you got to do is just single crochet in those 18 stitches and you're still going to have 18 stitches. So insert our hook into that next stitch. And you're not going to be putting 2 in that same stitch because we're just going to put 1 in every stitch. And I'll meet you guys back once you've done that. Moving on to row 4, what you want to do is you want to do 2 single crochets and an increase in that 3rd stitch. So you're going to insert your hook into that first stitch, and that's 1, that's 2, and you want to do an increase. At the end of this row, you're going to have 24 stitches in total. You're going to repeat this sequence all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back. So I'm almost at the end of my row, and I just wanted to do these 3 stitches with you guys. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets normally, 1 and 2. And in that last stitch, you're going to be doing an increase. 1 and 2. And don't forget to add your stitch marker again. Like so. So row 5 is going to be 3 single crochets, and then in the 4th stitch you're going to be doing an increase. So 1 single crochet, and at the end of this row you're going to have 33 stitches. So that's 2, that's 3, and if you look here, that increase that you did in the other row is going to line up with the increase that you're doing now. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets into that same stitch. And you want to repeat the sequence all the way around and 3 single crochets, increase, 3 single 3 single crochets increase all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back. So I'm almost done with my 5th row, and I just want to do these 4 stitches with you guys. So 3, so we're going to do the first single crochet, and do the second single crochet. And I'm sorry that the hook and the yarn are making so much noise with those screeching sounds. It's a bit annoying that happens. So my 3rd stitch. And now what you want to do is, where the stitch marker is, you're going to add an increase. So that means 2 single crochets in that same stitch. 1, hold on, there we go, 1 and 2. And don't forget to add your stitch marker. And we can move on to row 6. So row 6 is going to be 4 single crochets, and in the 5th stitch we're going to be doing an increase. So that's 1. And I almost forgot, right now you have 42 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th stitch you're going to be doing an increase. And as you can see here, all of your increases are lining up. And increase. And you want to repeat this sequence all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back. So actually row 5 had actually 33 stitches, not 42. Now we have 42 stitches. Sorry about that. So now this is just a repetitive row right now. Row 7 through 12 is just going to be a single crochet for 6 rows, and I'll meet you guys back once you've done that. I'm just going to be doing a few stitches with you guys, but pretty much all you gotta do is just put 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 6 rows. So I'm just gonna do a few single crochets. I'm not gonna do a lot because the screeching noises that the yarn and the crochet hook makes, that's really annoying. So I'm not gonna do a lot. So you just want to repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back. So I just finished single crocheting those 6 rows of single crochet, and now I'm going to be showing you guys how to count your rows. So when you want to count your rows, you want to count your rows in the front side of your project. So because if you count your rows over here, then it's going to be 1 row less, so that's not what you want. So what you want to do is you want to find your magic circle, and you want to count that. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, that's 10, that's 11, and that's 12. So we have 12 rows in total, and if you don't know which row you're on, like if you already did those 6 rows of single crochets, then let me show you how to do that. So you just want to find the last row of increase that you just did, which for me is, let's see, it might be a bit hard to see. Let's just make sure. So my last row single crochet seems to be, let me just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It seems to be right there, this row. So you could count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you just count your 6 rows, and then you just want to count those remaining rows. If you did more rows, then you just want to undo that. But if you did less rows, then you just want to finish those single crochet rows. So that's what you should have. And let's move on to row 13. So row 13, we're just going to be closing up our ball, and we're going to start to do our decrease. So if you don't know how to do a decrease, then that's fine. I'll be showing you guys how to do that. So what you want to do is you want to do 4 single crochets, and 5 and 6 are going to be decreased together. So let me show you how to do that. Let me insert our hook into that next first stitch, and that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4, and 5 and 6 are going to be decreased together. And I'll be showing you guys two ways that I decrease. And the first way is the one I normally use, which is inserting my hook into that first stitch, grabbing my yarn, and you just want to, you don't want to yarn over and pull through these two. You want to ignore doing yarn overing, and you just want to insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over, and you should have 3 loops on your hook. You want to yarn over and pull through those 3. And you'll have a decrease. So now let me show you guys the other way that I don't use, but I used to use. Let me just get my hook in there. There we go. So this is the other way. This is the other style, I guess, that you can do the decrease. And you just want to insert your hook into that front loop only. And you want to insert your hook into the other stitch in the front loop only. You want to grab your yarn, pull through those 2, but wait. You want to yarn over and pull through 2. And that's one way that you can do a decrease. But I choose the other way, so I'm just going to yarn over and do the other way. So whatever suits you well to do a decrease, and you can do it that way, but this is the way I like to do it. And you want to repeat that sequence all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back. So in the last 2 stitches, you're just going to be decreasing those 2. So I just want to show you guys. Insert your hook, pull through, and then go to the next stitch and pull through, and then pull through. So you're going to end this row with a decrease. And you should have 33 stitches in total now. Don't forget to add your stitch marker again. And let's move on to row 14. So row 14 is going to be 3 single crochets and then a decrease, and then you should have 24 stitches in total. If you still don't know how to do the decrease, then I'm pretty sure that there are more in-depth tutorials on YouTube that you can go and check out. But let's get started. So we're going to do 3 single crochets. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. And 4 and 5 are going to be decreased together. And there's that decrease that we did in the other row. And we want to do a decrease. Like so. And you want to repeat the sequence all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back. And don't forget, at the end, you're going to end with a decrease. So on row 15, you want to do 2 single crochets and a decrease, and then at the end, you should have 18 stitches in total. So we're going to start off by doing 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. And then you want to do a decrease. And it will just line up. It won't line up with the other decrease, but it will just, the decrease will go that way. And then a decrease. So you want to repeat this sequence all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back. And at the end, don't forget to do a decrease. So row 16 is going to be 1 single crochet and then a decrease. And let's go ahead and do that together. So we're going to do 1, and then 2 and 3 are going to be together. And you're going to repeat the sequence all the way around, and you should have 12 stitches in total. And then we're going to stuff the ball. So now we're going to stuff the ball. But before we do that, what I like to do is I like to grab my stitch marker, and I like to insert my stitch marker into that loop and secure it. And the reason why I like to do this is because sometimes when I stuff my projects, sometimes my stitches come off. So when I pull on the strand, it won't come off, and it'll be nice and secure. So I just finished stuffing my ball, but let me show you guys how I do that. So the way I like to do it is I just grab a bit of my stuffing, and I just grab my 2 index fingers and I just push it on each side, so then it's nice and even. And you also can shape this like so. And let's move on to row 17, and that's the last row, and then we're going to close up that small hole. So for row 17, we just want to decrease on every stitch, and we're going to end up with 9 stitches. So don't forget to add your stitch marker, and let's get right into it. So if you added a lot of stuffing like I did, when you work around this row, you just want to push that stuffing in as you go. So you want to decrease on every stitch. So you just want to insert your hook, pull through, go to the next stitch, pull through, and then pull through all. You just want to repeat that sequence all the way around. It's that simple. And then pull through 3. And I'll meet you guys back. So now we have 6 stitches, not 9, sorry about that. And now we're just going to close off this this ball. We're just going to slip stitch in that next stitch. Pull through, pull tight, chain 1, and then grab your scissors and leave a long tail because we want to close that top arch off. And pull through. And now you can take off your stitch marker because you don't need it anymore. And now we're going to close up this part. So now you want to thread your yarn into that yarn needle, and now we want to close up this part. So to do that, you just want to go through this whole stitch and pull through. We want to go into the next stitch and pull through. And then we want to go in the next stitch and pull through. Sorry about the lighting. It's not the best, but you just want to repeat that all the way around. Whoops, I just lost my yarn needle. Let me just thread that back. And I just have to do one more. Pull through. And now, this is where the magic comes in. When you pull on this, everything will close. And now all we gotta do is just hide this end. Make a few knots. So I'm just gonna go into a random loop and then pull through. Like so. Go through some random other ones. Go down all the way to the top. Let's go in the middle of the magic circle. Oops, I can't get my needle. There we go. And then you just want to cut your yarn and tug on it a bit. And then there you go. Just hide that in a bit.